Check, check. Check 1, 2, mic check. All right, it's coming through all right. And that. All right, everything seems to be good to go. Hey, this is Justin with Jam Pro Sound. I know there's not really anybody here right now. Let's see. Oh, Tim's there. Sounds good. All right, thank you. This is a rough one. I'm not really set up to do this. I've been dialing everything into record instead, and I just decided that I was going to go ahead and try to do something. So the main thing I'm looking at right now is I'm going to work on my tribute. So I've got my Les Paul tribute, and I was just going to get it cleaned up a little bit. Get a little bit of this crud out of here. I keep telling people that I play my guitars, and I know that I play my guitars because the guitars that get played are not dusty. Well, it's odd to me that the most expensive guitar I own is the one that does get dusty lately. So let's see. Give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and move this over. Reconfigure my screens just a second here so I can see what people are saying. All right. Same here. Oh, is that to the your expensive guitars don't get played and collect dust? All right. So the main thing that I'm looking at doing is I had a friend, Marshall, do a little bit of work on the nut here. And when he did, let's see what we got. What is it not? Well, that's odd. I've got a camera that's dead. So this camera is good. This camera has decided to go to sleep. All right, just a second. Let's see. That's let's see if this other camera flares up. Okay. You can see the headstock. Yeah, I know you could see the headstock. That camera had froze up on me though. And why is my stream acting like it's locked up? Okay, so now if we go back to this, is this live? Now it's working. All right, so anyway, when the nut was worked on, the old CA glue and baking soda trick was done. So there's a little bit of residue here because it was kind of a rush job and I didn't really have time to get it and to give Marshall time to clean it all up. So he got it to the point that I could play it while I was there, and I left the mess for me to deal with later, and it's been about a year since this happened, and I've just played through it. Tim, is my mic loud enough? So anyway, all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this truss rod cover off, and I'm going to, I wanted to get these out of the way. And I'm possibly going to go ahead and pull the strings off anyway and do some other stuff, but I got my nifty cool Harbor Freight toolkit, and I got tired of having piles of guitar tools and everything just stashed everywhere. So I grabbed one of those little Harbor Freight yellow toolkit things, and got everything sorted. Everything's in a dedicated space now, so when I need to do something, I can do it without feeling like a hobo. All right. And I got a brush here somewhere. Yeah, it's crazy. 50 years old, and I finally have a box for all my guitar tools. Well, that was convenient. So I had previously looked at some of what was there, and although I did it in passing very quickly, I had thought that there was a little bit here that was actually stuck, and was going to maybe take a little bit of chiseling away, and it all came off with a brush, which is nice. But since I have them out anyway, I'll show you my handy little files and picks and stuff that I got from Harbor Freight. I didn't know if these were going to actually come in handy for guitar work, but they looked like they would. So all of those guys. And the other sides, just a lot of different tools. And they're all stainless steel. They're very, very strong. And none of them are really sharp. So as long as you've got a steady hand, my thought was initially to use something like this guy here to clean up the edge here. But like I said, I don't need to because it's all looking pretty good. All of it brushed away with the brush. So, and the brush that I'm using is just a little detail brush from the car part store. Works really well. And the way I do things is I try to use tools that are not going to screw anything up. And I try to do it with dental tools. Work great too. Yeah, and that was my thought. You know, a lot of these look like dental picks. What I really liked about these is they have the ends that let you get into places, but they're not sharp. So you really have to work if you're going to dig in and score something or damage anything, which I figured was probably a good way to approach this. Now, one other thing, well, before I get ahead of myself, I'll put this back together. Finish what you start, right? Tim, I watched your first video with Jack. I have not watched the second one yet. So if you're watching this later, my sole point for doing this was just to start documenting things that I do. For the amount of guitars and amount of equipment that I've got, I've been told many times that I should be doing videos, and honestly, I get kind of started on stuff, and the last thing I want to do is worry about making a video so someone can watch this. But a lot of people said they want to see it. Some people that have never seen some of this stuff done. I don't know how you couldn't have seen this stuff done, but anyway, I was just trying to clean up some baking soda residue left over from a fix that was done to the A string and the D string actually on this guitar. This is I think this is a 2022 Les Paul Tribute, Gibson Les Paul Tribute. A lot of people don't like these because they don't have the binding. They're satin top, and they are. Hey, Mark. Tim says everything looks and sounds good. I hope it's the same way for you. It's kind of a test tonight. But anyway, all I was trying to do was get the nut cleaned up, because I had Marshall do a little bit of work on it for me. The D string and the A were a little low, and I'm not going to worry about tuning this right now, because as I pull these strings off, I can tell they are due for a change. Anyway, a lot of people don't like the Les Paul Tribute, and I'm not exactly sure why. Is that going to change? I need faster upload so I can monitor what's going on the stream in less time. Wow, come on. There we go. So the Tribute, in my mind, is one of the better looking Les Pauls, because I don't like the binding on the neck and the body. What they do with the Tributes is they leave the finish off on the cap and they expose the maple cap. So you get the look of binding. They don't bind the neck, and I will tell you, when I got this guitar, I was not happy, because the neck not being bound is actually kind of rough, and that's evidently a pretty common thing for all these Tribute models. You could seriously buy a Gibson and it would not be as rough as the edges of this, but it's a little character, I guess. One of those things that's, just because it says Gibson on it doesn't mean it's flawless, and I realize it is just a Tribute, but anyway, that is my Gibson. I love it. So now I'm going to figure out what I want to do next. One of the things that I need to do is, let's see. All right. So, and as you can see from the fingerprints, yes, I play my guitars. This is my Agile PS900, an ocean blue flame, and done a little bit of modification to it. Most of you know, I put the pickups in it with the custom covers, and I put the roller bridge on it as a temporary thing, the knobs, and I also did a different truss rod cover. Switch to that camera. They're going to switch. Did I find those left-handed pots yet? No, I did not find left-handed pots yet. I found that one listing that you and Marshall had talked about, but that guy has a note on his listing that said he was going to be unavailable for a while. I don't know if he's in the hospital or helping somebody or on vacation or in jail or what, but he wasn't going to be able to provide any of those for a while. So again, this is my Agile PS900, one of two that I have. I put the black buttons on the machine heads, the tuning buttons, just because I'm not a big fan of gold hardware. But I saw some things on Amazon parts-wise. I saw the pickup covers and I saw the knobs, and then I think I stumbled on to the truss rod cover. And my dad was a clocksmith in his spare time as a hobby, and he loved doing that work. And I went from not liking gold hardware to this just kind of came together one night, and it seemed like the theme that this guitar was supposed to have. And yeah, the inlays, I wish they were real, Mark. I was really hesitant about doing that, but yeah, those inlay stickers, they're not actually like a normal sticker. They're very, very thin, like almost like a foil, like a gold leaf, but they're very, very strong. And you really can't peel the edges of them up at all. But anyway, I put the truss rod cover on, cut that down, put the inlay stickers over it, the pickup covers. Go back to that shot. Damn. Sorry, I'm watching the feed to see how long it takes for shots to change and things from the time something happens here to the time it actually goes out. And it's, yeah, the being non-destructive is really fun. Absolutely. I wouldn't do this to a more expensive guitar, a nicer guitar, but this was actually a pretty nice guitar for what it was. And I knew that anything that I was doing was not going to cause any damage and that I could deal with whatever came from these. But oh, I may have lied. I think I have one that may have delaminated here or something. Oh no, actually, that should have come off. Oh, that gets even better. That's funny. So I just discovered that one of the 12th fret had a white or a clear plastic layer over top of it. And yeah, half of what I was feeling as edges that are really, really subtle. Yeah, there's actually a plastic layer on these that I did not realize was there. So they're a foil-based decal, and I evidently have been bending enough that I have torn through those. That's good to know, because that means that these just got even better than I thought they were. Yeah, they're like a foil. They'll cut you. They'll definitely cut you if you're not careful. Yeah, there's definitely a coating on there, kind of like peeling off the plastic on a pick guard. And I wouldn't have known that, but I have been bending the shit out of most of what I play. And the edges don't get caught by your strings, but clearly if you play enough, you will peel the protective layers off. That's good though, because I didn't know that that was like that. So anyway, that is my Agile PS900 that I've made some changes to. And let's see. I'll grab another guitar. Look at all the fingerprints. Been boomer bending, bro. I've been trying to play stuff that I don't ever play. More like Jeff Beck kind of stuff. Man, there's at least a minute delay from the time something happens in the room. Like I just put, okay, wow. So this is my Kretzmann. This is a KZ. What was this? This is a KRTZ 59 DC. And I believe this company is run by, it's veteran owned. It's a gentleman that went to Lutherie school and decided he was going to start doing guitar work. And he has somebody, where is this, Indonesia? I can't remember where these are made. Anyway, has these made and brings them over, kind of like AIO all-in-one guitars, the Wolf guitars, and brings them over, imports them, sets them up. I don't know exactly what his setup is because, well, I don't want to talk shit, but I think I would love to talk to the guy first and get his take on what he does as far as setups to these before he ships them out, before I do any trash talking. There are a few things that probably World Music Instrument, is it World Music Instruments or World Music Incorporated? I can't remember. Yeah, possibly. I think he says he's open about it on his website. But he brings them over like AIO all in one and sets them up, whatever that means. I mean, the guitar is an inexpensive guitar, but I like the double cut style, and being lefty, they're very, very hard to get my hands on. And this is actually one of 3 that I now own. The first one that I got was a Harley Benton DC Junior Fat, and that's got the stacked P90 with the coil split. And when I got that guitar, it felt great. It just didn't seem like it sounded the way I thought it would. And even with the action low and everything set up right, it just seemed like the pickup was too low. So I ordered a Mojo Tone shim pack, and if you've got P90 guitars that you feel like you're just not liking the way they sound, look and see how far down what the pickup height is. And if you have to, grab one. You can order a set from Mojo Tone. And here we go. So they come in a pack of 3. And you get one that's, I think, 3/16, one that's a 16th, and one that's an 1/8. And yeah, okay. I had to look and see if these were even in view. Anyway, you get a 3-pack of shims. It's like $26 or so. And I put one underneath the pickup in the Harley Benton, and the guitar woke up. It just completely turned it into a different guitar. And I've had a blast playing that one, and found another. Well, hang on. Anyway, this is the Kretzmann. Let me zoom in a little bit here so you can see. So again, that's a Kretzmann KRTZ. It's a KRTZ 59DC. And it just says Kretzmann Guitar Company, model tactical KRTZ 59DC. And then he's got a Bible verse stamped there. Isaiah, was it 38:20? I think it's something along the lines of God said to make music, or someone said something about making music with stringed instruments or something. Anyway, I'm not a big religious guy, but I like the guitar, so. All right, and here is not planning on going through every guitar tonight, but we'll go through a few of them. Oh, that was the other thing that I did on. Yeah, the Kretzmann had black metal buttons on the tuning machines, and I didn't like those, so I put some black traditional buttons on there. Like, what's cool is most of the dust that I brush off my guitars these days is the bones of old guitar picks. Emma actually walked in today, and what you can't see is that right across the bottom of each lamp on each of my racks, I've got a Dunlop pick holder that goes on a mic stand. And so on each rack, this one and the one behind me, those are full of brand new picks. And she saw them all today and gave me shit because she normally sees me digging through worn out picks that I don't throw away. And I told her I was tired of dealing with that. So yeah, I ordered some new picks. All right, so this is the Harley Benton DC Junior Fat, and it's based on a 59 DC Junior. Again, inexpensive guitar, but a blast to play. I'm a sucker for satin finish. I don't really like shiny, glossy stuff, but anyway, this is one that I put the shim in the pickup. RoboVac picking them up yet? No, actually, we've been really good about keeping stuff off the floor, not ending up with any emergencies. But anyway, this guitar, it's got the stacked Roswell P90, and it's got a push-pull coil split for that. I need to wire this backwards, because on this one, in the down position, that's single coil. You got to pull up to get the humbucker, and that's not what I want. I want it humbucker most of the time. And so the other thing that I did on this, the tuning machines that came with this guitar, they're like the white button, look like something off of a Mickey Mouse guitar, and they worked. I just couldn't stand the look of them, and I wanted to try something different. So I ended up putting Geiger locking tuners on this. That's been a learning experience and I don't think that they do anything for tuning. I'm not one of those guys. But when it comes to changing strings, I do like having locking tuners. It took me a while to get used to. I'm going to slide this back over. Anyway, the Geiger lockers, got to find some good push pots. Yeah, the push pots I'm really kind of interested in. Like Marshall mentioned, they're more prone to breaking, which makes sense, but I think it'd be worth it. But going back to the tuning machines and machine heads, I wanted to try some lockers, and I figured this would be a decent guitar to try it on. It took me a while to figure out the right balance between tight enough and too tight on clamping on the string, because if you tighten them down too much, I found that I was breaking strings. I was breaking the G and the B, and had to buy a bunch of spares till I figured that out. But that's what I've done to it. But I play the shit out of this guitar, to the point actually that I liked the guitar so much that I saw one pop up for about $200, I think, on Reverb. And my thought was, for the price, as much fun as I have playing this one, I would keep the other one that's right-handed here, so that right-handed friends could come and play, or would have something to play when they're here besides the Squire. Or I would give it away, and I wasn't sure who I would give it away to. Got a couple of people in mind. One of them doesn't have the ability to take a guitar that doesn't have a bolt-on neck out of the country, and the other one said he doesn't want any more guitars. So my favorite lockers are Mini Grovers, no tension wheel, and self-trimming. Yeah, I saw the I saw the self-trimming ones, but I didn't go with those, obviously. Anyway, the other person said they've got enough guitars. And then somebody that I used to do a lot of musical things with got back in touch and has had some changes, some life changes that have led him back into playing again after about 7 years of telling the world to fuck off and he wasn't going to do anything musically. And he's going through some stuff that brought him back into being musical. And I think I know where this guitar is going to go. Right now it's in Nampa with Shane Horsley of 57 Heavy, and I don't think he's touched it yet, so I'm going to go get it. But anyway, I'll go back to, so there I just changed the scene, and it's probably going to take about a minute and a half for it to change. Oh, we'll look at this one. Looking forward to meeting him. Yeah, Mark, I'm not going to say any names right now because I don't want to ruin the guitar surprise, but I think you'd get along really well. So this is my 3100 MCC from Agile, and it's just a single P90. And this guitar I bought on the 10-year anniversary of my dad dying. That's what this was for, to commemorate that. And just a single pot volume. And I don't know what that pickup is, but it's not noisy, and it's not a stack, so I'm not sure what they've done. I've pulled it apart and looked at it inside here, but let's see. At least I don't think it was a stack. Let's see. It always cracks me up when you guys retract messages that I didn't see. Makes me wonder if it was a typo or if it was something too funny to leave. What was that? Love the finish on that guitar. Yeah, me too, Mark. This is, I really like the transparent black stuff. Yeah, it definitely needs to be cleaned up. Like I said, all these guitars are great. I love playing them, but just don't look at them. If you look at them, they look like absolute dog shit because they're just fingerprint magnets. I didn't think this was a stack, but it sure as hell is. Well, that's interesting because I don't know if you can see this, but that is a 4-wire stacked P90. I got a black, a green, a red, and a white, and a ground. So yeah, I was wrong. That is a stacked P90. That's why that thing's quiet. And that's cool as hell because that means that I'm going to be able to put a push-pull pot in there. And then I can split that. That's cool as hell. But while I got this thing open, I'm going to take a measurement. See how deep that cavity is so I know what kind of room I've got. I got to do a restring session. It'll take hours, maybe days, and that's a P100 by the looks. Yeah, I mean, Gibson calls them the P100. Everybody else calls them either like noiseless or humbucking P90. At one point, I will take that thing out and look at the back of it. Zero this guy. We want inches. Okay. 1.4 inches depth. That's what I've got to work with on the cavity depth. Just note that so when I get to ordering parts. And I am no tech. I do just enough to keep my guitars playable for myself and help friends once in a while. Like most of you, I get my info from YouTube, but Most of what I have learned that I didn't know already, I've got from Marshall Turner, set up by Marshall. You know what? I should leave all this plastic on these things. Emma loves to take that shit off. Yeah. That's what I'll do. 35.5 millimeters. Mark for the win with the metric measurements. And I realize that imperial units are dumb, but sometimes I just don't want to think about shit, so. Oh, hey, Alan. Sorry, I missed you. I thought that I saw the comment about the color and top looks like the night sky in December. That's cool. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was putting this thing together and measuring that, and I thought Mark had said that. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. No worries. I'm here just following along. Yeah, I'm, like I said, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just kind of taking care of a few things that I wanted to take care of. And like I said in the beginning of the video, people keep telling me that I do enough of this stuff that I really should just do a stream or record once in a while and catch all of it. So that's what I'm doing. So again, that's that top. And all that shit in there is not dust, it's guitar picks. Like just shredded guitar picks. It's awesome. So anyway, that is my, God, that's crazy. And that's a standard pot. That's not a push-pull pot, but that neck's grody. I'm gonna have to clean this thing. But anyway, like I said, that was my gift to myself to commemorate the 10-year anniversary of my dad dying. So most of the things that I buy guitar-wise have some sort of story to them. They're gifts for memorials and things, and I can tell you right now that that is a big mistake, because if you do that and you buy guitars based on important things in your life, then you won't get rid of your guitars. If nothing else, it makes a lot of good guitars for insurance. Yep. No, and I've got everything documented, photos and serial numbers, and like this one, W220008. And honestly, agile serial numbers mean dick. Oh, what else? You know what? Since Mark is here, I'm going to tell a story about another guitar. All right. So this one, my big OCD brother. So the story to this guitar is I really like lemon meringue stuff, like my dad. That was kind of our dessert, I guess. If we ever ate any pie or something, it was lemon meringue. And I didn't know you could get a lemon drop guitar, and the color just popped. And I really like the iced tea bursts and stuff. But this one, It just kind of stood out. And I've seen a lot of shitty videos talking trash about Harley Benton videos or guitars, and I've seen some good ones, and decided I was going to check it out. And this one's got it's got a coil split for both pickups, and this guitar I bought used, but when it showed up, there was nothing wrong with it whatsoever, except for the back peg had a little bit of damage around the outside. You can see like someone dropped the guitar basically. Well, that was all that was wrong with the guitar. But the first night that Mark was here, oh no, he says. And Mark, I have no ill feelings about this whatsoever. It's kind of funny actually that it happened. I think it's because it happened that I'm more cautious with other things and I don't do dumb shit. So the first night that Mark was here visiting from Australia, I was sitting in the chair in my living room. He was sitting on the couch, and I leaned this guitar up against the couch, the armrest of the couch. And as I did it, I thought to myself, I probably shouldn't do that. That could get knocked over. And it did. Mark went to get up, and I slowly watched. I think there were a few drinks flowing by then. And I watched in slow motion as it basically just decided to slam over and land. We'll get this thing to. Get a little bit more light going here. Is that camera going to change? Jesus, I need a faster ISP. Yeah, just glad the frickin' headstock didn't break. No shit. So anyway, there's a little bit more light. You can see that edge of the headstock slammed into the bottom of the base of a speaker stand, and a good chunk of the headstock veneer came off. I have it all. I think it's actually right here in this little clown box. Yep. So the pieces are in this little box, and at some point I will glue them back on, but it tipped over and it hit the speaker stand, and Mark and I both were just like, oh shit, did that really just happen? And then Mark immediately reminded me that it could have been worse. It could have been the Gibson. But I still love the guitar. I still play the guitar. And I have a cool story to go with it. So again, I wasn't planning on going through all the guitars tonight, but since we're talking about cool guitar stories, and I don't know when the next time I do a video will be, I'll get into part of the story. We'll hint, give a little teaser. Did we lose Tim? Who was watching? Let's see. Man, my computer's struggling. What do we got here? So it's Mark and I and the participants in the chat. It says there's like 6 people watching. Anyway, I don't know who's watching. Thanks for stopping and checking it out. Just kind of talking shit, doing a few things to a few guitars. So I'll go back to this. Two Christmases ago, I was driving my oldest daughter from Boise to Vancouver, Washington, because she was moving up there. And on the way, because I thought maybe I'd have an opportunity to play with some friends up in Portland and Vancouver, I took a guitar with me on the road, and I didn't want to take anything that I was concerned about breaking or losing. Man, that thing is filthy. So I took, I'm going to put that guitar right there, and it's going to fall over. You guys are all going to laugh at me. So my road guitar that trip was this Squier Affinity, and this I grabbed from a pawn shop one day because I just kind of wanted a beater Strat that I could leave around. And anyway, long story short, I ended up with this guitar. It's actually pretty decent. Did some work on it, made it playable, and feels great. Sounds great. I've used this on recordings, and people are like, holy shit, what did you play on that? And then I tell them, and they're like, there's no way. But this is my road guitar, and Hallie and I stopped in LeGrand because I don't remember, there was something wrong with it. Pickup wasn't working, or so. I think it had dead pickup. And we stopped at LeGrand Stereo and Music to see Marshall. And have him look at that. And can't beat an old Squier once set up. Yeah, I agree, Mark. I know some of them are shit. I know a lot of them are shit. And I'm not one of those guys that's like every cheap guitar is amazing, but some of these can be really decent guitars. Wow, that freaking, this thing is filthy. Jesus Christ. I feel like I'm hanging my dirty undies out, showing everybody these dirty guitars. Anyway, like I said, it's proof that I play the shit out of them, right? Anyway, we stopped and Marshall was looking at the other guitar at the Squier, that Affinity, and he had said something about having this Mexican Strat, this wine red Mexican Strat that had come into the shop. I think the lady that brought this in brought it in with an Ibanez Geo as well, I think. And when he had sent me photos initially, I was not interested in it because it was wine red with the white pickguard, and it just did. White pickguards don't go on anything besides a white guitar, in my opinion. And I asked him about the Squier, and while he was working on that, he handed me this. He's like, "Here, noodle on this," and it felt great. And after a couple of minutes, I was like, what do you guys want for this? And he's like, "Merry Christmas." So this wine red Mexican Strat went with us to Vancouver, and that was my gig guitar for the weekend. And yeah, so this was my Christmas present from Marshall that year. And we'll call that the introduction to a story that I'm going to have to finish now because I've let the cat out of the bag. This guitar was given to me, and because this guitar was given to me, I obviously then decided that I needed to get Marshall a guitar. So yeah, I'm going to wait. So I spent a couple of years looking for a specific guitar for Marshall. And the reason I went for that specific guitar was based on another guitar that is the basis of the other story. So I guess I got to get the story together. Anyway, I'm rambling. It's weird talking to myself, watching people type. But this is pretty much my favorite Strat now. I have others. I've got an Olympic white one that's signed by Kenny Wayne Shepherd. That was a cool story that I'll get into at some point. Do a video on that. A lot of stories between me and my dad and guitars. My dad was a drummer, as I understand it, in high school, and he quit playing when he went into the Air Force. So I never got to see him play or sit down and play with him. But based on the way he tapped and beat on everything, just like Jay does, yeah, my dad would have been a freaking amazing drummer. But lots of stories about guitars and my dad, and I'm working on a video that's going to kind of go through a few of them. But I think I'm going to wrap it up. How long has this been on? Well, when do we start it? I started 11:30. It's 12:30, about an hour. Go another 3 minutes or so and cut it off. Yeah, my thing, Mark, is, the stories are cool. I don't know. I'm not a storyteller, but I'll give it a shot. Definitely going to have to do some cleaning. These guitars are just disgusting. Holy shit. Oh, you know what? You guys are talking about black guitars. This is one. I will show you this one. So this was another double cut I got that is from Agile, and put mint green buttons on that one too. But nothing real special about this guitar, but the color is just awesome. Transparent black, and you can't really see it with this light, I don't think, but yeah, you can a little bit. It's mahogany, and the finish is thin enough that in the right light you can see the mahogany, the red from the mahogany come through, which is awesome. This one, the neck is sticky as hell. I am going to take that off. And the other thing that I need to do to this guitar, and anyone that knows how to do this, let's see, we're going to go to that shot. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. All right. So this chunk right here, in person, it looks way better. Yeah, always look way better in person. So this little spot right here is a divot that was there when I bought the guitar. It honestly looked like someone started with a drill bit and went about 1/8 of an inch into the back of this guitar. Well, it looks like absolute dog shit right now because I decided one day that I was going to take some blue painter's tape and a razor blade and some CA glue and do the whole Dan Earlywine CA trick to try and fill that hole. And that was my first attempt. It's not done. Work in progress. more like mess in progress. But that thing right there is going to have to get cleaned up. And at some point, I want to fill that completely and buff that out. And then I'll polish the rest of the guitar. But I think I'm a fan of double cuts. That's my thing. All right, what do we got? Over there. We'll go back to my camera. And all right, well, I've been on right about an hour. It's about twice as long as I plan on being on. So I'm going to go ahead and bag this for the night. Go back and watch it, listen to it, see what it sounds like, make some changes on this end. And if it looks all right, maybe I'll do another one. I'm open to some feedback, tips. If you guys want to jump on a chat after I get done here, shoot me a message. I don't plan on crashing for a while. So see ya.